Wishing you a fantastic Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. Our good buddy Matt Lee is here. We're talking about investment properties, specifically, I'm thinking student housing around the University District. There is a lot of them, and this is that time, it's a crunch time of year. Explain.
Yeah, so we tend to talk about Queens more than St. Lawrence, and it's more to do with population. There's 18,000 on site at Queens, and there's about 6,000 on site at St. Lawrence. But right now, all across the board, the property management companies have come out probably in the beginning of November, and they've sent letters that say, are you signing for May, a new lease for a year, or are you moving on? So we look at these things and we say, okay, the property is going to start coming up. People want to know how to look at the investment property for their return, and how do I look at the numbers? So I take an Excel spreadsheet and we break it down, and I say, okay, let's look at X, Y, and Z, and we'll say this is what the income is, this is what the expenses are, and this is where we end up. So it's a place to start, to give yourself an idea. Not to say that this percentage is what you need to have.
Every case is going to be different.
Every case is different, and every person is different. Some people just want to have the house for their children. You know, I've seen 1, 2, 3 kids, in a house where the parents are just controlling what's going on. They don't want to have to deal with a property management company. They want to know that this is our house, and then basically, 5, 6 years down the road, they turn around and sell it. Okay. So I mean, this is the time. So.
Well, the numbers could be a little bit confusing for some, but Matt is here to demystify what you're looking at here. So this is a fictitious address, 123 ABC Street.
That's right. So what we're looking at is, say you're looking at a duplex downtown. We've got 1 and 2 units, and we say $3,600 is the income for unit 1, and $2,400 is unit 2. The amount that you make over the year is $72,000, because the first one is 43 and 28. And then we look at down below, we go into expenses, and we say utilities, taxes, and insurance. And we say that the owner of the house is paying that. So your net income on something like this, so basically your income minus your expenses, turns out to be $57,200. And if you're looking at, say, a cap rate of, which a cap rate is what your return on your money is.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're looking at a percentage and people say, what is my return on my investment at a bank? It's 3% or it's 2.5%. We're saying on this property, if you made $57,200 and you wanted close to a 6% return, the property is worth $1 million.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
So that is what we're looking at, and we're seeing, the rents kind of vary in the downtown area. If we get out towards St. Lawrence, I mean, they are a little bit less. I've heard of rents downtown that range anywhere from, we're not supposed to talk about bedrooms, but I mean, basically, if you classified a full house and you were to break it down per bedroom, I've seen 800, I've seen 1,000, and I've seen up to 1,100 if they're sitting in new houses close to the university. So we're seeing that these numbers are starting to, and it is a little bit of lack of inventory. So it's nice to see these buildings being built.
Absolutely, and a lot of these current residential areas shared accommodate, shared bathroom, shared kitchens.
Yeah, there's it's one of these things where we do have that, and I think that with these buildings that are happening, we are going to see some of those houses, closer to Princess, that they'll kind of go back to that residential style.
Okay, so let's take a look at another fictitious address. I love these street names. This is 456 ABC Street.
That's right. So we're looking at a smaller one. So that was a bigger property, and we're going to say that the house is generating $2,500 in income, and you're making $30,000 a year. And we're going to say that the utilities, taxes, and insurance are a lot less in this one. So we're going to say $300 a month, $240, and $100. So basically, you're going to add up to about $7,000 and change for an expense. And that's if the owner of the house is paying all the expenses. So your net income on this is $22,311. If you're trying to get around a 6% cap rate, which is a 6% on your return on investment, you're going to look at about $370. So that is a different property. That's something where you're saying, okay, that's a $2,500, that's a single unit, and this is what we're making. It depends on what you're looking for as a return. Some sell at 4%, some sell at 7%. It depends on location, it depends on demand, it depends on a number of things. So I use both around 6% just as a benchmark. That doesn't include property management. So if you're looking at something...
Their fees.
Management fees, that's right. So I mean, I always say investment properties are a part-time job if you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that if you're looking at it as a part-time job, and I'm going to be the one that cuts the grass, and I organize the snow removal, and I do all the maintenance at the property, you can keep those lower. If you're going to hire out management and maintenance, then you have to add that in.
Lots of things to consider, but really great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Matt Lee.
Real Estate Tips, brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.